So thank you. We are on our last session of for the Ishigaki Islander Summit, and this session might be very important because we have all three mayors on the same table. Just like what Gian said, it's just like a real government talk, high level, top level government talk for climate change. So before I start, we know we have Ishigaki Mayor, Kauai Mayor, and the Mayor from Sardinia. But we don't know about the delegates from Bali. I have two colleagues from Bali as well. Let me give them some the first opportunity to introduce who they are. So I'll start with Wira from Bali as well.
Hello everyone. My name is Wira. I'm from Bali, Indonesia. I actually work with a lot of rural area villages in Bali. So we partner with like 5 regions, and we work with over like 20 villages all around. So I have 3 organizations basically. First organization working on sustainable tourism and responsible traveling, where we're trying to increase the economical impact to local community from the tourism in Bali, because tourism in Bali have a problem where only centralized and it's not distributed. So that's one of them. The second organization called 5 Pillar Foundation. We work on rural education and also set up a destination to be sustainable. For example, what we do a lot of advising and also how this village, for example, they can be a sustainable village, for example. So we partner with them. We do a lot of like education and advising, basically those kind of things. The third organization, basically an eco village, like a bamboo eco village that we built for. Also, one of them is like we're trying to bring the next level of the village development, rural development in Bali, because we're trying to build a style or a trend so people can live as a stylist in the city, but as also we can live in the village as a stylist as we want. So that's also a trend that we want to build in Bali. So where we also invite young people to work there to design a program where we also can improve the local economy, and also we work with a lot of local talent that we map. So for example, they are mushroom farmer or bee farmer or any kind of product. We work with them and we basically empower them in this space to share each other and basically to build kind of like a next level of the village development. So that's what I'm doing in Bali. And yeah, I'm here today. I would love to contribute or share, or I would love to learn a lot of things from each of your country, and I would love to also share what we have in our country. So yeah, look forward.
Do you have any image or videos to show the eco village?
Okay.
Because it's new for the world, I think.
Okay. So the first one, I just would like to show you this. This is the concept that we develop. So our base principle called 5 pillar. So 5 pillar, it's contain economical side of it, social side of it, which is people, community, culture side of it, education side of it, and environment side of it. So what to do with this, basically we are in the middle. Any kind of business, any kind of movement, any kind of activity, yes, you can how we can develop it. Yes, you can make income, like economical impact, but how you also can help others in that movement, and how you also can support and educate them, and how while you make this business, you can also preserve the environment and the culture. So that kind of value that we implement a lot of into our businesses and also local communities, and also how we see problem there. So from here, this principle, we developed several that organization that I already shared you earlier, which is I doing a lot of community assessment in Bali. We do a lot of rural mapping, because a lot of us, when you stay in your country, we don't understand what is our resources sometimes. when we interview the villages, when we interview the young people, they say, "Oh, I have nothing. I have like." So when we see there, they have so many resources like agriculture resource, culture resource, all this kind of wisdom. So we're trying to bring it back and make it data, and really show it to the community. This is what you have. You're rich, for example, and how we can use it for your future development. That's what we do. And yeah, the first organization was Five Pillar Foundation, where we do lots of, rural mapping, youth skills development. So we do working with a lot of villages to preserve the culture side of it, the agriculture side of it. So this is the first organization that we work. Yeah. So the second one, so this is mostly our partner are all around Bali. The second one is Five Pillar Experiences. So this is very interesting because we actually partner with a lot of local heroes. Back then, we trying to partner. We trying to build our own business, let's say. But actually, there are a lot of local businesses already happening in the village. Why not? We can just collaborate with them and make bigger impact. So that's why now we partner with a lot of this local entrepreneur, local activists to basically create a program to connect them and to really build their economical impact and build their education with what they have. So we usually bring also international community to learn about what they learn, who they are. For example, we host like Hawaii student actually last time to learn about how the agriculture impact the local society life and stuff like that, and how to build organic life, for example. We actually bring a lot of students from Japan to come to Bali to learn about social innovation, like mostly kind of more into culture side of it and exchange and stuff like that. So we done a lot of this program with our local hero. So and then the third one is the eco village that I was saying. This is the picture where we actually develop like bamboo pyramid, like bamboo learning center. So we have like in that village we basically have like a permaculture where we can find like a black bee, like chicken, duck, and all fruit. And basically we're trying to set abandoned area to be productive and to be a center of education, so that people can come there and also stay and feeling as in a village. And this is the movement that we're trying to be like stylish, but to basically attract a lot of like local people to going back again to their rural area to build something. So that's some of things that I'm doing in Bali, and I would love to share more later.
Thank you. So in Bali now, it's kind of booming to live with nature and having all these challenges from like over tourism, disaster, and etc. We have this kind of eco village by bamboo, and also we have an education institution that also built by bamboo as well. Yeah. So next, I would like to introduce Gian from Green School.
So maybe I should take a deep breath first. Being in the middle of the major of Ishigaki, the major of Sardinia, and the major of Kawa, it's such a honor for me, and represent women as well. So my name is Gian. I graduated 2014. So my major is actually chemistry education. At that very moment, back 5 years ago, I were watching a video about a school that I spot. This school has no wall. This school was made out of bamboo, and the student has no uniform. The student has no shoes, just barefoot. And the students did gardening and ate ice cream, watermelon ice cream. It's like, oh my goodness. My passions was about education and environment, and I've been like connected so much with nature because I grew up in a small village. When I was a student, high school, middle school, even till university, my life was busy with studying, making homework, and kind of a disconnect with the natures, with the rice field even. I don't know how to plant rice at all. I had no idea. Even though I'm a Balinese, I eat rice. So I decided to, yes, this is gonna be my dream job. I'm gonna apply myself to work in this school. And this school is called Green School. Have you been to Bali before? Okay. The next question's then not working at all. Bali is one of tourism destinations, same like your island, Ishigaki, Hawaii, Sardinia, and so this concept education is actually lies on to raise the awareness of the youth. As Wira said before about how he becoming so creative and see the potential and execute on a project which is sustainable oriented. We want the students to understand and make themselves informed with that kind of thing. So the Green School concept of education is wall-less learning experience. That means there is no such boundaries for learning for every single individual. So the Green School is international school. We have 500 students and 35 different nationalities. From Japan as well, we knew that students is coming from Japan, and we have teachers from Hawaii as well. Yeah. So the name is Greg, married to Japanese. So it's a nice combination in Bali. And they gave me a book about Japanese that is hard for me to understand. So long story short, because the school is located in Bali and the mission is we are the community of learners. So not just students, but actually the teachers itself is the community of learners to make the world sustainable. How could that possible if just only from the international aspect? So the local voice need to be heard, because the one who will be stay longer and sustain in that area is the locals. So the Green School provides scholarship for students full time. It's called local scholarship program. But we also realize that this scholarship might impact it in a good or a bad way, because being exposed in such international situations and the global mindset, it was good, but somehow the students will also kind of somehow can lose their identity, because it's like so much and too much questionings about the religion and so on. So we learn from that and we reflect from that and we find a way how to better approach this kind of educations. So we have a community integration program situated at the Green School, like one of the department, becoming part of the Green School faculty, learning neighborhood, and it's called Kulkul Connections. And I work for Kulkul Connection since 2016. So what we aim is to make the Green School as much as benefit for the locals. So makes the Green School as an asset for the locals to learn and to preserve at the same time. So when we asking the community outside how then we could collaborate together, working together alongside, they are telling us that actually the language is one of the limitations, one of the barriers that somehow make us crash or not be able to really understand what we're talking about. We don't get it. So they're asking if we could provide English classes. Oh, that's easy, of course. Yes, we provide English classes. But what? These English classes, we pack in a way that the students also learn about sustainability and environment. So the very first way to make them aware about this concept of education is they need to be committed and they have to pay. And they pay with no cash. they pay with trash. So trash per class. As long as the students bring their 5 kilograms recyclable trash, they are welcome to join one semester in these classes. And surprisingly, it's not just like 5. There's a students bringing 50 kilograms of trash in one semester. The focus as well is to let the youth lead, as you have always wanted and explained during the opening remarks, to give the students opportunity and chance to speak and to do actions. So mostly the learning will be based on the projects. So I could tell more about you, what project have been doing by the students.
You want to show the video?
Okay.
So this is
Actually, yeah.
for a better image of what they are doing. Sorry, it's on iPhone.
I don't bring my laptop.
Welcome to my world.
He means our world,
This is Green School.
a place where we make solutions happen.
Where are teachers?
And students, like me, and parents.
Like us, and members of the community.
And especially me.
To make a difference in the world every day.
By living sustainably,
We learn how to solve problems.
we turn used cooking oil into fuel.
We grow our own food.
We experiment.
We innovate.
We're building a model for the future.
Join us. Stand together
And support you.
to become more green.
We are entrepreneurs because we want to make the world a better place. To be a model for the future now.
Through education, engage with the local community.
We invite people from all around the world to connect with us.
And join forces.
We can make a difference.
Education is our ally.
The future of our planet is now.
We are the future.
So I think you get the picture of Green School, I think. So I think now everyone knows everyone. Next, I would like to send my appreciation to Nakayama Shicho. Because of him, this summit is really happening, and we might build a real better future for all of us as an islander. So next, I would like to have like an opening greeting from Nakayama Shicho. The table is yours.
今回皆さん石垣アイランドサミット参加いただきまして本当にありがとうございます。
Thank you so much for coming to this island summit in Ishigaki.
今回のサミットをした、理由の一つとしては私たちの島は本当に、自分たちのすごい大好きな島なんですけども島がどんどん時代によって変わっていく中で住んでる人たちの幸せとそしてもともと島にあったものがなくなってきてるところがあってその辺のバランスをどのように 解決していくべきかということを考えました。
The original reason to organize the summit was, well, because living on the island changes, the way of life on the island changes, and we wanted to research, find out what it is we can do to, well, make these changes go in the right direction.
例えば日本全体では今人口が減っていって、少子化って子供が少なくなって年齢が高齢化していくという課題がありますけども、石垣は幸いなことに子供の生まれる数も多いですし、人口も少しずつですけど増えていっている。
In Japan, overall, there are less and less children all the time, and the society is getting older and older. We have an aging society. This is less the matter in Ishigaki. We have more children than the rest of Japan. So it is, yeah, the situation here is slightly different.
でそんな中でやはり住んでる人たちがやはり経済的に豊かになりたいとか生活をもっと便利にしたいという欲望っていうのはどうしても出てくることなんですけども、それを経済を豊かにすることの、反動というか観光客をたくさん受け入れたり開発をしたりというのがどうしても課題として出てきます。
Yeah, we like to, well, people living on the island like to make themselves, well, economically comfortable and for the rest as well, make their lives comfortable. And, well, to be able to facilitate that, we have to, well, we have to have tourism and this kind of business on the island as well.
でその中でまた経済的にも島でもともと商売してた人たち仕事してた人たちもいますけども、観光客がたくさん来るようになると、それを目当てにまた島の外からもいろんな資本が入ってくる。
Of course, local people participate in the tourist industry as well, but also from the rest of Japan, other companies come to Ishigaki, especially to make money in the tourist business.
そうなってくると、やはり自分たちのもともと持ってた文化と違う考え方の人たちも入ってきますし、そうすると島にもともとあった伝統的な言葉であったりとか芸能であったりとか、そういったものが少しずつ薄まっていく、薄められていくような感じです。
By these other parties coming in from the rest of Japan, we feel that our culture, yes, all the traditions and things like language are getting thinner and thinner, are more difficult to implement.
ただやはり自分たちは自分たちの島を誇りに思ってるし、自分たちの島の良さっていうのをこれからもずっと残していきたいという中で、どのような形で伝統を守るのか、どのような形で自然を残していくのか、どのような形で、言葉であったりそういったものを残していくのかっていうのが大きな課題です。
One of the greatest issues we are dealing with now are, we are of course proud of our tradition and culture, but we are trying to solve the issues that how to continue these into the future.
で開発していくのは簡単なんでしょうけども、開発していくと当然島の良さっていうのがなくなって、今の島の魅力がなくなれば、いずれは観光客が来なくなる可能性があって、そのあたりの課題をそれこそ持続可能な開発という言葉、SDGs という言葉になりますけども、それぞれの地域の皆さんからのアイデアとかですね、それぞれ地域の実際に今行っているということを教えてもらって解決策を見出したいというのが今回のサミットの大きな意味です。
To become economically more comfortable, it's easy to just develop more tourism, but this is, well, in the end, result to no tourism at all because the attractiveness of the island will become less and less and people will stop coming. So, yeah, to reach these goals, we want to, yeah, we have to use the SDGs that were set. And on this summit, we want to learn from everyone, from each other, how to develop this future together, a sustainable future for the island.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, like what you said, that as an island, even Ishigaki, Bali, Hawaii, or Sardinia, we also have tourism as our main economic resource for the people, for the islanders. Next, I would like to ask Mayor Derek for what is happening in Kauai and what kind of problems and how is your policy or what do you do for making the island to be more sustainable?
Thank you. Thank you again, Mayor, for having us. On Kauai, we have been addressing climate change for over a decade now, and it really started with policy discussion that we started having with our electric cooperative. Our electric company on Kauai is unique in the sense that it is a co-op, so the members own the utility company. The rest of the islands are all investor-owned utilities, so they're profit-driven. Our board of directors are elected, and so I was 26 years old when I was elected to the board of directors for the co-op. Am I going too fast, sir? Good. And they made me chair the strategic planning committee because they wanted somebody young to shape the future of the direction the board was going in. So we made very strict policy calls as far as what type of electric generation we were going to be utilizing moving into the future. So we said no to coal because that was an option. And we said we're going to invest our resources towards renewable energy, which is a challenge because Kauai is the home to a majority of the endangered species in Hawaii. We cannot use wind turbines, and hydroelectric is very challenging as well. Water and the distribution of water is a touchy subject in Hawaii in general. So we invested heavily into photovoltaic and of course battery source backup with the goal of reaching 100% renewable energy by 2050. Already on certain days we're hitting 100% renewable energy, which is a pretty big accomplishment when you consider that we, on a relatively small island, we have about 72,000 residents, and with visitors, it's over 100,000 people on our small island. From a policy standpoint, as far as future development, what makes it unique is we understand that we have to maintain what people love about Hawaii, which is our beautiful ocean, our clean environment, and our open spaces. And we have an aging infrastructure that wasn't designed to hold the amount of people that's on our island. And so we're starting to look at bigger cities as to how they live, because in a sense, urban living is more sustainable on an island than the sprawl that we have. So you have to keep in mind that in America, at one point, they started building suburbs, subdivisions. And so land use at the time was built around people owning a car. Everybody should own a car. So they built housing for people in one area. They centralized retail and government services in another area, and then they put schools all over, sort of haphazardly. So now people need to drive to get to their services, which has caused a traffic problem on Kauai. Unfortunately, we don't have the funding to build more roads and add more lanes at this time, which is a good thing because you cannot solve traffic by building more roads and adding more lanes. It's like trying to cure obesity by loosening your belt. You know, it doesn't solve it. So what we're doing is we're investing in our urban core. The central part of the island is where most of the services are. It's where 80% of the jobs are, but only 20% of the housing. So we just finished crafting what we call our general plan, which is basically the blueprint of development. and we took into account climate change, and so we have some of the most strict shoreline setback laws in America, which is basically where somebody is able to develop based on the proximity to the shoreline, taking into account the rising sea level and tsunamis and increased hurricanes. So we're trying to redevelop the city part of our island, and we've increased the density, which is the amount of units a developer can develop on a square acre of property. And we're encouraging people to build a little higher, up to 5 stories, because we have a law on Kauai that one of the past mayors said no building can be higher than the tallest coconut tree. But guess what? Coconut trees can go pretty tall, so they said 5 stories, because we want to maintain our sense of place, our rural character. So that general plan, we were just awarded a national award for having the best general plan in the nation. And it was driven by younger folks, what they consider millennials, 30-year-olds, 29, mid-30s. And what they did was very unique in the sense that they went to different parts of the community and just went out and told people, what would you like to see? And they didn't drive the discussion. Government for the first time said, we're here to listen. We want to know what you value in your town. How do you see us growing? What would you like to see us preserve? And really the first 2/3 of that process was just government going out to people through different channels, utilizing social media, having walking meetings where they walk the town together and just listen. And it was a tremendous success. And so we've climate change into every part of our policy discussion, because we do understand that if we don't address climate change and start moving our infrastructure inland, we're not going to have much of an economy to make sure that our people can live, work, and play. So, it's a work in progress, and it's never ending. But we're driven by making sure that we have Kauai for the next generation.
So one keyword that I can take is the next generation. How to develop how to develop them to be our next future generation.
Oh yeah.
So talking about next generation, how about city of Seulo? As we know that it has the longest life expectancy in the world. How do you balance the youth and the elderly? Of course, there will be some gap between them. How do you balance them? Because in Bali or Indonesia, sometimes what the youth say, sometimes they won't be heard by the elderly. How do you balance everything there?
Allora, intanto grazie a tutti, saluto con piacere di nuovo il sindaco di Ishigaki, il sindaco di Kawaii, gli amici di Bali. Io parto da una considerazione che la mia comunità ha un grosso problema che è chiamato spopolamento.
First of all, I would like to thank again the mayor of Ishigaki for inviting me, and I want to thank also the mayor of Hawaii and the people from Bali to being here with us to discuss this issues, these important issues for the development of our countries. My village, the village I administrate is a small village which has a huge problem, which is the population.
Siamo passati da 1600 abitanti del 1970 a 800 abitanti attuali.
Our village is decreasing, the population is decreasing, and it passed from 1,600 people in 70s until now we are 800 people. Very small village.
Il mio percorso di studi in ingegneria con esperienza di pianificazione del territorio è stato molto condizionato dalla passione per il mio paese e dalle problematiche del mio paese.
My studies in engineering with particular regards to the urban planning has been very directed by my passion for my village, for my country.
Partendo proprio dalle problematiche, gli studi mi hanno permesso di costruire un processo di sviluppo che avesse alcune caratteristiche importanti. La prima, la tutela della risorsa ambiente. La seconda, l'importanza della comunità, l'importanza delle attività connesse con la tradizione. Tutte queste cose ci hanno permesso di costruire uno sviluppo coerente con il passato.
Okay. There are four main fields that drive our plans, and they are the care of the environment, the construction of a strong community, the protection of the traditional activities, and
popolazione, attività e luoghi, ambiente, attività. Le tre cose fondamentali all'interno dello sviluppo sostenibile era la tutela dell'ambiente, la tutela della comunità e la connessione di uno sviluppo che fosse sostenibile.
These three characteristics are important to drive to build a sustainable future for our community.
Nel proseguo vi dirò ulteriori, non lo so, è un po' complesso. Magari facciamo di nuovo.
During our speech I will tell you more about what we are doing.
Io penso che alcuni principi, politiche diciamo, messe in atto, che stiamo mettendo in atto nel nostro paese possano essere, speriamo, di ispirazione anche alle vostre comunità.
I think that our respective policy, everything that we are doing in our countries can be of mutual help for each other. So it's important to exchange experience.
E anche da parte nostra siamo permeabili, ricettivi a capire quali sono le vostre esperienze e farle nostre
de elaborarle a favore della nostra comunità.
So we are very interested in learning more about your experience, as we can use it to improve our policy and for doing something better for our community.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. So luckily we have delegates from Indonesia, Bali, because I think Indonesia or Bali is the only island that is not in depopulation. Me, I'm 33, Ian is 28, 26. We are very young population in Indonesia, but well, we have short life expectancy. So, and also we are lucky that we have 3 government officials and 2 from private sectors. So Wira has been working from the side of private sector in Bali, working with the government and etc. Maybe you can share about what is happening by working with the government, the policies, and how difficult, and what you learn and what you hope for the better future of this sustainable development of an island as a tourism destination or etc.
Yes, so first I was listening from the Ishigaki mayor about your kind of like future vision, because in Bali it's already happening. When tourism coming, we are all mass. Like it's hard because like a lot of mass tourism coming in, and it's a lot of kind of like, yeah, I can say it's kind of like corruption happening, where a lot of big investors pay a lot of money to buy kind of like the legality. So that's why they can invest a lot in Bali, and our government can't say anything. So that's what's also happening. And first of my suggestion again, please yes, you can be strict, but just be wise on your investment in your island, because I saw lots of big impact and changing happening in Bali Island, where when I was working in the hotel and restaurant, I didn't really see a lot of local people on the local business. Most of them are from outside of the island. That's one. The second one, how you also make kind of policy on, okay, like people who came here and do a business absolutely need to be really clear on how their business will impact the locals. Yes, they can take a revenue from the island, but how they also will impact and empower the local people in Ishigaki. Because in Bali there are a lot of big businesses, they actually hiring people from abroad and like outside of Bali, and the local didn't really, maybe they're only hiring local as a cleaner or as a surfer, not really as a, like a supervisor or manager. Like higher higher department is already taken by people outside the island. So I don't want that seen in Ishigaki. The third one, it's also about education. We really lack of like a very like Green School is one of the most like a good example of education. We lack of them in Ishigaki, in Bali. So if we have a good education, we actually can be competitive as we want in terms of like work environment. So that's why if you can educate your next generation as open as you can with the language, with the all of this kind of skills, I think your future of island will be amazing. Because Bali also, we only educate our generation for hotel, restaurant, for hospitality. So that's make us as a servant, as a surfer, not as a future thinker. So that's what I really want to suggest the Ishigaki Island also. I mean, I don't know if you already done it, or for us, we started right now, but before we just thinking of making our own, that's a little bit what we learned from Bali, from your story of future generation. And next, what I really happy when you say about your your blueprint you got like from the Kauai mayor. When you share about you actually already think of really farther away of for the next generation. I'm so happy, because a lot of time I speak with local government in Bali, they only thinking of, okay, let's say the central government give you a budget, And we're trying to convince in the private sector this budget should be prioritized for like really good, facility or really good educational platform or something like that. They only thinking of what is the lowest hanging fruit and then they will build something else. It's very hard to really translate sustainability into our bureaucracy. I don't know. Yeah, in the most of our. So that's why, again, I really want to take you to Bali to maybe become our mayor. But again, we trying to convince, we trying to educate. We also trying to show the other example of like other city doing the good movement. I really want to make you as an example of a good kind of partnership or collaboration between both sides, civilian with the private sector with the government sector, because a lot of gap there. When you really merge yourself from the government sector within the communities, private and community, it's a lot of amazing things happening. And as a government, you don't need to think a lot on how to solve the problem, because as you see on the video, because the problem is there and the solution is there, and we just need to take the solution from them. So it's just that easy. But sometimes our government think the solution is them. They will they get the money and they will make the solution for us. That's not work. Yeah, so that's why I really hope that our government become the visionary like you, to maybe develop renewable energy in Bali, to really develop our education, to really standardize our economic growth this time. So that's also my hope for my island and also in general for Indonesia. And go back to the Sardinian, I also heard quite interesting story about the population of your island. It's same things also happening, but not in the whole island of Bali, because Bali we kind of like a big island where we also have a lot of rural area, and we have like the central of the city, and most of people are coming there. And I'm from west side of Bali, which is 4 hours away from the city area, and population it's mostly young people. As I said earlier, we still strong with the culture of patrilineal culture. When the Balinese married and the Balinese son or the man of the family need to will stay in the family to continue their ancestor of life, and when they have a son or so they basically patrilineal like what you call the father's line basically we call it. So that's why we never sell our land ancestral land. We always have our parent and we always have our family there. So that's also a good thing for us because of our ancestor. So I don't know what is the culture in Seoul in terms of your community life. For us, when you are young, yes, you can go abroad. But when you are married and you have a son, sometimes you go back to the village again to continue your culture. So that's a little bit of the story that we have in Bali. Maybe you as a woman, so in Bali, so you maybe have another idea about what's going on, what you see in the vision of Bali.
The words of development is somehow really tricky for me to understand, because what I've been taught when I was a student is like you have to be skilled with computer. You have to be able to speak English so you could communicate with other people, because you are about to face the globalizations where the world has no borders, where people can travel anytime, when access to transportation is very quick and easy. And then working at the green school and then meeting people from different area, like totally opposite of my area. They are coming to Bali to seek for something that they have know that they not owning back in their countries. They're coming from the big cities with a concrete jungle, lack of sense belonging to the community, individualistic, not even knowing who is the neighbor next door. So, and they are so amazed by the culture of the Balinese community, which is we have that sense of community and a part of that Banjar or smallest organizations, community structures in Bali. And to realize as well that you guys, the toad, like you guys Balinese, with your hand you can do much. You can do stuff. You can eat from your hand. You can make an offering like this or like this is like Balinese offering. And also you can work at the rice field. You can produce your own vegetable, produce your own food. You can live with nature, closely with nature. So now my mind is shifted from the modern thing to a enough is enough. Like we share what we have. I can say one concept or more that the ancestors that Vira have said before. Becoming a young generation, if Greta have to be angered to the old generations that caused this all destruction, I would say I wanna be thankful to the ancestors that leave behind all this local wisdom to us, to live in a harmony through the principal concept of Tri Hita Karana. So Tri means tree, and Hita means happiness, and Kara means the cause. Three things that cause happiness to us, which is nothing else, not money, but the relationship. So the relationship human to human, the relationship human to natures, and the relationship between humans to the divine, to the God. And that principle is being applied by the elder generations that preserve until now through a farming system called Subak. So if you watching Bali through a video and they like have a drone shot from the top, and you would see like how beautiful the rice fields is. But actually, if you could like zoom in it, make it like bigger and see the complexity and also the beauty of it, it's so mixed. So the good things about Suba is farmers share the water. Nobody claim, nobody own it. We share through a system of water tunnels. But what's the challenge that they are facing at the moment is with the development of technology, with the invention of the knowledge, that the world demands more surplus to be consumed, like rice, whatever vegetable, and there is a chemical input adding to it. And now, back then that we don't realize, but now we see it, we are facing the environmental issue like big on soil quality and also the water quality, because it's all politics. And the next challenge is about the youth no longer interested working at the rice field because they find it, they conclude by themselves, is working at the rice field is muddy, hot, all the bad things. It's not sexy anymore.
Talking about technology, we see that this technology could be also a challenge for local culture, local wisdom, and etc. As the most developed nation in this table, how do you see technology and how you balance it with local wisdom and etc. in Hawaii?
Well, technology is a tool. And so any tool can be very constructive or destructive. And so even one of the big debates that we have on Kauai is the utilization of technology for agriculture. Because we have less resources, we also share our water. Nobody owns the water. But when we buy water through our municipality, what we're buying is the cost of transmission. So nobody is actually buying water. You're just buying for the utility that allows you to have water in your home. So Hawaii, because of our climate, is a very valuable resource for global agriculture because we have year-round growing seasons. So we grow a lot of seed corn, which gets shipped out globally so that everybody can eat. So we play an important role, but there's controversy tied into that science. And that's where technology can be a double-edged sword, because nowadays anybody can put out anything on the internet, and it's hard for people to be able to differentiate fact from fiction. And some of the science, like anything else, has yet to be proven what the long-standing impacts are going to be, especially on an island where we have just one island to live on, one source of water, and once you ruin that, it's ruined for many generations. So that's in one sense where technology is very challenging. One of the things that we're being able to utilize technology, however, is as new renewable energy technologies come on board, Kauai is oftentimes seen as more open to utilizing new technology because, like I said, we own our koa, so we're not profit driven. We're driven by doing the right thing. So that's where we're utilizing new technology. I do want to say one thing, that one of the challenges I believe that any sort of elected form of government faces is that by nature your elected officials are elected due to popularity. It's not the smartest, definitely not the wisest at times, but it's the person that can garner the most support. And most of the right decisions that need to be made are not popular decisions. You know, I come from the private sector. We own and operated a grocery store that my grandfather started, and we got to see big national corporations come to Kauai and slowly close up mom and pops stores. When we had a major hurricane and the Great Recession, we were able to weather that storm by making very tough decisions, the right decisions. But these were not decisions that our labor force and our workers were happy about. But it was the right thing to do. And I believe that you need to have elected officials be willing to lose an election to do the right thing. Because when we talk about sustainability on Kauai, most of the families are working 2 or 3 jobs. We don't have housing for our local people. So when you talk to them about sustainability, their definition of sustainability is, how do I even keep the lights on? How do I make sure that my children have food to eat? How do I make sure that I even have clothes and my ability to pay rent? So when you're talking to them about 3 or 4 generations down the line, most people don't get it. And that's where sometimes the right decision is not made because people will immediately respond negatively. But I always keep in mind what my dad would tell me. He said, don't worry about it. Make the right decision. Because at the end of the day, people will not remember you for the amount of roads that you paved or the projects that you built. All they're going to remember you is whether they had a mayor that they could trust and that had integrity. So go ahead and make the right decision even if it's not popular. People will get over it. Everybody loves new things, but they hate change.
I hope you can become one of our mayors. So for Mayor Nakayama, do you have anything to add about technology, next generation youth?
そうですね、今、郡長がお話したように IT をどんどん生かしていきたい。私たち限られた島の中で、生きていく中においては、やはり改善していかないといけない部分っていうのは、テクノロジーでやっていかないといけないと思いますね。で、例えば二酸化炭素を吐き出している車をエコの電気自動車に変えたりとかしていくことはやらないといけないと思います。
I think, like the mayor said, technology is a tool. I think it's a tool we need to use here on Ishigaki as well to make our society and the island better. Things like electrical cars and things like that. So we need to.
で具体的な事例で言うと、皆さん観光地みたいなカビラ湾、カビラベイのグラスボトル、サンゴ礁のグラスボトル。
To give you a practical example, I think everybody knows Kabila Bay, the bay over there. They has glass bottom boats that float in the bay.
そこはその船はガソリンでエンジンを回して排気ガスを海の中に排気ガスを流しました。
Now the boats are running on gasoline and they put their gases into the sea while they're traveling around with the tourists.
当然に観光客が来れば来るほど船を使いますし、それを実際に分かったお客さんっていうのは自分が観光することによって海を汚してるっていうことに気づいて。
Yeah, and of course, the more tourists come, the more gases will end up in the sea, and eventually the tourists themselves will realize as well that by them coming there, they're actually destroying the environment.
当然そうなってくると観光地としての魅力がなくなってくるし、観光客の皆さんもそういう自分が環境を汚す観光には行きたくないという思うわけです。
Tourists, of course, the island will lose its attractiveness, and of course, tourists will not go somewhere when they know the only thing they're doing is destroying the environment.
今取り組んでいるのはそのガソリンを使ってエンジンを回してたものを電気の船に変えているところです。
Practical example is we're trying to change all these engines there to electrical engines, so solve problems in that will get solved.
非常にお金かかるので、市が民間の船ですけども、市も補助金を出して。
It's an expensive process to change to this thing. So the city is actually the companies there are private companies. The city is also helping them to change to it.
最近取り組んでいるのは観光客の皆さんがシェアリングでバイクを借りたりするような会社が立ち上がっていますけども、それも電気のバイク。
Another new project on the island is bikes, motorbikes, but not gasoline bikes, electrical bikes. It's a sharing project that we have on the island.
そのバイク自体はスマートフォンでキーをオープンして、鍵はスマートフォンのキーがありまして、そのバイクはどこをどう走ったかとか、この借りたお客さんがどういった買い物をしたかとか、どこで滞在したか、最終的にはそれをまたビッグデータとして集まっている。
When you borrow these bikes, you borrow them with your smartphone, and the key, your smartphone is the key to the bike. and where you go and where you know where you go shopping, where you visit, what you watch. That ends up big data for the city as well to have and to use.
それをすることに観光客の皆さんが石垣のどこをよく訪れているのか、何を求めているのかというのが行政側としても分かるように。
By that effect, as local government, we can see where people want to go and what they want to see. Just more information.
そうすると同じ限られた予算の中でもどこを整備していくのか、どこの観光地を整備していくべきかということが分析できる。
Yeah, as a city, it's very good to see what you should tackle first as areas on the island that should be held up as a tourist place.
そういうのは最新のインターネットだとか IT だとかテクノロジーを観光だとか産業に生かしていくいい事例かなと思います。
Yeah, these were just two examples that I wanted to give you as an example of how we use IT technology for the island.
I think we really need to adapt with the technology nowadays because even me, I'm 33 years old, but the high school students say that I'm too old. What I think is not into this moment like Instagram. It must have application for the students, but well, for me, I'm quite old media user, so I don't use Instagram. But for them, oh my God, you don't use Instagram. So that kind of things is the thing that for the next we need to know to adapt with the young next generation. How about Seulo? Is there anything you want to add about next generation or technology or etc.?
Ma intanto due slogan politici della nostra amministrazione. La prima è tradizione e innovazione. Anzi, il primo è Torreusa Sugonnuttu, è in sardo, è in lingua sarda, la nostra lingua madre. Il secondo è tradizione e innovazione.
There are two sentences that resume our political line. And the first one is a sentence in Sardinian language. Repeat, please.
Torreusa Sugonnuttu.
Torreusa Sugonnuttu means we should come back to the past. The second one is
tradizione e innovazione.
Tradition and innovation.
Due principi importanti. Siamo andati a ritroso nel tempo a indagare quella che era la comunità autopoietica, quella che si riproduceva sostanzialmente in quel territorio.
Okay. We started to study our community from the past and to understand how the community worked in the past and why in the past the community could go on and preserve and become and growing and why now it is changing.
Quella comunità dal 1860 al 1960, 100 anni, triplicò gli abitanti.
Our community become 3 times bigger from 1860 and 1960.
La comunità successiva, dopo il 1960, si rapportò male con la modernità, subì passivamente la modernità.
After 1960, our community had a bad relationship with modernity and took some wrong decision and was not able to plan the future of the community.
Adesso, attualmente, abbiamo capito l'importanza dei processi di sviluppo della comunità vecchia e stiamo cercando di ricostruire un modello che ci ricolleghi anche alle nostre tradizioni e al passato.
Now, after studying the past, we think we understood the old model and we are trying to applicate this model to our contemporary community to build the future.
Dalla comunità passata abbiamo trovato alcuni principi fondamentali. Il primo è la tutela della risorsa ambientale, molto rispetto per la risorsa ambientale.
From the study of the old ancient community, we learned that we need to respect and to preserve the environment.
Il secondo principio è che le attività devono essere sostenibili, cicliche, riproducibili e generare uno sviluppo equo e solidario.
Again.
Ce la fai?
Repeat.
Il secondo principio è che le attività devono essere sostenibili, riproducibili.
Our activities must be sustainable. We should replicate these
cicliche, connesse con il ciclo delle stagioni.
According to the cycle of the season.
Ed eque. Equità devono favorire lo sviluppo della comunità, non del singolo.
And also our policy must help the whole community and not just the single individual.
Il benessere deve essere diffuso.
So all the community should earn from this development.
Il terzo riguarda la comunità. La comunità deve ritrovare la sua storia, le sue radici, valorizzarle e custodirle.
Also the community must find his origins, its traditions, and have to preserve and develop and promote to the next generation.
Il quarto principio è la trasmissione alle generazioni. Educazione, didattica, proprio come la sua materia. La trasmissione intergenerazionale, dall'anziano all'adulto al bambino.
Okay. So we need to be able to transmit the knowledge from the old generation to the new generation, and in this vision, education is very important.
Tutto questo ci permette di costruire un progetto di sviluppo.
All these four principles permit us to build a new development program.
Che non deve essere un ritorno al passato folcloristico e basta. Vuoi andare? Quindi non deve essere un ritorno al passato folcloristico, ma deve prendere le risorse attuali del territorio, deve sfruttare in una forma sostenibile le risorse attuali del territorio per restituirle migliori alle generazioni future.
This knowledge of the past we have to use it not to organize just a festival, weird festival to let people know our old tradition, but must be a starting point for building the future.
Noi sardi dell'interno, barbaricini, ci hanno sempre paragonato ai nativi americani. Voglio dire quella frase, no?
Okay. Seuro village is a small village in the middle of Sardinia, in the internal part of Sardinia, in the mountains, and these people is always often compared to Native Americans.
E infatti uno dei principi dello sviluppo è quello che diceva un anziano americano, che la terra non è nostra, ma ce l'abbiamo in prestito dai nostri figli.
Okay. This American principle said that the land where we live doesn't belong to us, but it belongs to our sons, to the next generation. So we have to preserve for them.
Altre due cosette. Io ritengo che proprio nelle isole del mondo, che non sono solo le isole intorno, che hanno il mare attorno, ma anche le isole in mezzo ai deserti, le isole in mezzo alle foreste. Devo andare? Conosci la frase? Proprio in queste isole troviamo una importante sapienza ambientale per costruire il futuro del pianeta.
Seulu village is a kind of small island in the middle of a bigger island. Major said that mostly in islands we have the bigger knowledge, the best relationship with the environment, and we should use this to teach to other part of the world, to the whole world.
Il summit di Ishigaki può diventare un punto di partenza importante. Sarebbe bello costruire una carta dei principi per dire alle aree metropolitane e alle aree continentali che una via possibile per il futuro del pianeta esiste.
Okay. The Ishigaki summit should be a starting point to teach to the metropolitan areas and to the other part of the world that another lifestyle, another way to live is possible. So we should write together some document and to share it with the rest of the world.
Just talking about the things, the future, the things ahead. As we are also, the time is almost over. Maybe Derek Mayer want to say something, the expectation or any detail or any wish between Kauai and Ishigaki, or Kauai with Italia, or Kauai with everyone here.
This is a very valuable opportunity for all of us as islanders to commence the very first Islander Summit. And for our team coming here, the main priority was to initiate the relationship, because everything starts with the first meeting. And so I'm very fortunate to have met the mayor from Ishigaki, whom we share a long sister city relationship, longer than we've been alive. And then now I am blessed to meet the mayor of Sardinia and then my friend from Bali. And I would like to learn more about Bali and the sustainable resources that you use for construction because it could possibly spur economic growth on Hawaii, being that we have similar climates as well. And we look forward to participating in future Islander summits and eventually bring this message out to bigger metropolitan areas that are creating a lot of the adverse impacts that we're dealing with. Like I said in our opening speech, our mission is to make people fall in love with these little islands in the middle of the big ocean so that they understand that even though they are far away from us, they can still help us. And our existence actually relies on a lot of their cooperation as well.
Thank you. So, and how about from private sector from Bali, youth from Bali? But before that, I'm sorry, I really need to go to the toilet, so let me talk and I need to go to the toilet.
Come back first. Come back soon. So funny.
He is
Yeah. So yeah, in youth side, in private sector side, this is again when I heard Icelander Summit, I felt like it will be tribal meeting, will all tribe and stuff like that. But actually no, like everyone can join, you know. I saw like a student coming. I saw like from teacher, you know, like a government. Well, it's really, for me, it's really interesting. Where actually there are actually so much, you know, idea can we bring up from, you know, from this kind of diverse department or diverse people that coming in this program. And also my hope that again, I really love ongoing things. I hope this can be again starting as Mr. Derek said, that will be a starting point for us to begin a bigger, you know, impact and a longer journey that to achieve as, you know, as a sustainable island, for example. So yeah, I mean, I hope that, you know, I can see this summit ongoing, maybe in other part of the world or maybe here again, we don't know. And the second one, I hope after this summit we can take something out of it, you know, either for the Ishigaki side of it, because you already host us here, you should have at least taken something from, you know, like from this summit. And me personally, I already took some note already, like I have like so much idea that this is also for beginning, that hopefully that I can come again to each of your, maybe to each of your country to learn more about your country. And also I'm look forward to host you in Bali. Who knows that you come to Bali and also wanna kind of share, or because last time I actually host Jeju Island government to share about the and then I come to Jeju also to share about Bali, kind of like, so we have kind of like Icelander mindset, who we also don't want to be like, you know, another Bali where like south part of Bali where actually really mass, but we want to have like impact for other island that, you know, make more sustainable way of doing tourism, for example. Yeah, so I hope it's ongoing. I hope a lot more people can also learn from this kind of, you know, event as Icelander, because, you know, Indonesia has like, for example, 17,000 islands. So we can imagine if this kind of Icelander summit going really well, that, you know, keeping more people aware about how to develop sustainable island, how to improve the life of people in the island itself, and, you know, how to protect the nature and stuff like that. Yeah, in my personal, I'm super grateful and thank you very much.
Mayor from Sanu, anything to add for the last comment across the session?
Magari dopo faccio vedere un po' di Sardegna, perché noi adesso stiamo cercando di valorizzare le nostre risorse, no? La longevità è una risorsa importante. Sapevamo di Okinawa, però non è tutta Okinawa, non è tutta la prefettura di Okinawa, ma è una piccola comunità sulla longevità, no? La Blue Zone sta portando, come dire, una grande opportunità al nostro paese. Ci siamo confrontati con...
Frasi brevi e non ho capito dove andare a parare.
Niente.
Again.
Tra tutte le politiche che stiamo attivando, una importante è quella della longevità.
Okay. It seems that between all the issues that we are discussing, he's very interested in developing the issue of longevity with Okinawa. And he's interested in understanding. We learned something from Bali, but from learning which is the situation in other countries. So it could be a point of interest for him.
La longevità è molto importante, anche perché ti dà una spinta in relazione al marketing anche che ci può stare dietro, e quindi rilanciare i prodotti poveri della montagna.
Okay. For a small village like Seulo and the other place, the issue of longevity could be a good way for promoting the island, promoting the whole country, because it could be a way to promote every single aspect of such as environment, such as local production, such as okay, we cannot sell genetic patrimony, but we can share lifestyle, for example. So,
I nostri anziani ci hanno insegnato degli stili di vita e di come rapportarci con il territorio. Questi stili possono essere anche esportati. Certo, non possiamo esportare la genetica, ma possiamo esportare, diciamo, il nostro cibo, le nostre tradizioni, il nostro invecchiamento attivo.
okay, elders teach us how to develop a good lifestyle to live longer, and we should try teaching this our lifestyle to the other people.
Io mi fermo qui, vi chiedo poi 2 minuti per farvi conoscere qualcosa del mio paese, proprio 2 minuti, e abbiamo portato poi dei prodotti che vorrei farvi assaggiare.
Okay. He would like to show you a short video, 2 minutes video, to introduce the village, his village,
Sì.
and also he would like to let you taste some product of his territory.
Want to show the video first or
Vuoi
later?
vedere adesso oppure
Fallo.
facciamo vedere adesso?
No, giralo proprio qua, così lo guarda anche lui.
No, c'è anche
nature and food there. So that's the key for longevity.
Archaeology. Traditions.
On table directly.
Well, it's eating the cookie. So this is our first summit. Everyone is looking forward to working together with everyone else. Everyone is looking forward to collaborate with Ishigaki Island. So the last closing statement maybe from the mayor. While eating is also okay. No problem.
今回皆さんのいろんな意見聞かせていただいて大変勉強になりました。特にカウアイに関しては私は訪れたこともありますし、昔から知ってますので、事情はよく分かってたんですけども、バリ島、そしてサルディーニャは行ったこともないので、それぞれのお話を聞いて大変勉強になりました。
Okay. First off, I learned a lot from hearing from all your views about the issues we're talking about. Well, especially Kauai. I've been to Kauai and know the situation there, so I know more about those islands. Sardinia and Bali I have not been to yet, so I'd like to learn even more about those.
特に今回地元の石垣の高校生がバリ島のグリーンスクールの中の子たちと一緒に勉強しているというとてもいいきっかけになったんじゃないかなと思っています。
Okay, also the students of high school students of Ishigaki doing a project together with the students of Green School was a very nice opportunity to work together.
石垣は実は高校までしかなくて大学とかに進学する子どもたちを含めて基本的に18歳になった子どもたちはほぼ全員島から出ていきます。
Yeah, we don't have a university on the island, so high school is the highest education. So when people turn 18, per definition, they leave most people leave the island.
大体そのぐらいの数が毎年600人ぐらい若者が出ている。
So every year about 600 young people leave the island to go to get their higher education.
ただもともとみんな島が好きなので島に帰ってきたいというふうに思ってるんですけど、そこに仕事があったり、将来的な生活の基盤があれば戻ってくる人が多いんでしょうけども、今観光が伸びている中ではそういう経済的な仕事という意味においてはだんだん基礎ができてきているでしょう。
Yeah, because a lot of the people that leave the island, they like the island, love the island, and they want to come back. And I hope that lately we're trying to make a base as well, like to economically make it possible for them to come back and have a job here.
今回、バリ島の皆さんと勉強したことによって多分島の子どもたちが島に対する愛情っていうのももっと深まったと思っています。
I think also through the project with Green School this time, I think the high school students really learn to love their own island even more.
よく島の人たちは将来島に帰ってきて島に役に立ってくださいっていう大人の皆さんよくそういうふうな言葉を使いますけども、私はちょっと感覚が違っていて、今もう地球がこれだけ、ネットの時代であったりとか情報化であったりとか移動もいくらでもできるような状況になっている中においては子どもたちを島から出すとき、それは子どもたちのいろんな可能性で旅立っていくわけですから、将来島に帰ってきてっていうと子どもたちの足に紐をつけて飛ばしてるのと一緒だというふうに思ってます。
Okay. A lot of adults say to children when they leave the island, please come back later come back to the island and try to do something for the island, be of use to the island. I think differently. I think if you tell them to one day come back in a society where it is possible, all these possibilities, there's so much information, there's all these places you can go. If you tell them come back and do something for you, you're putting a putting a rope on their legs, and that's not good.
ですから私はもう旅立つものはどんどん世界に出ていってもらって、そしてそこで島がいいと思った時にいろんなことを学んで帰ってきてもらえばいいし、逆に島に帰ってこなくても外で日本でやったら東京や大阪の大きな大都市であったり、それこそアメリカであったり他の場所からでも島に対する応援というのはいろんなことができると思っています。
Okay, yeah, rather than having them come back, I encourage people to go and learn. And well, please come back and teach us what you've learned. But it's also okay to stay in Tokyo, to stay somewhere else in Japan, any other place in the world.
で今回つながった部分で、例えば誰かはカウアイに行ってカウアイで住みながら石垣のことを応援する人もいるだろうし、カウアイのことを頑張る人もいるし、バリに関わった人はバリで頑張る人もいるだろうし、サルディーニャに行く人も出てきたら非常に面白いなというふうに思います。
Yes. So people learning about Hawaii, Bali, and Sardinia. It would be really interesting if someone through this summit would actually go to one of your islands.
でそれぞれの島の良さとかを勉強して、またそれぞれの地域で生かすことができるように、どんどんこのネットワークが今後つないでいけばいいなと思います。
And that would create a great network of knowledge from your islands and our island here. That would be good for the future.
このアイランダーサミットをきっかけに、より多くのまた地域が結びついて、それぞれの課題を解決していきたいと思います。
Okay, on the summit as well, we'd like to go on solving the issues we're all dealing with.
ぜひこれからもよろしくお願いします。
Okay.
よろしくお願いします。
We look forward to working with you again.
So, thank you everyone. It's time to eat the cookie. I've
Very
been
good.
looking for this.
I had a head start.
Oh, so we have a photo session? Okay.
美味しい。
Oh, ginger. This is very good.
Grazie.
Grazie.
Grazie a voi.
So this is ginger?
No,
No ginger.
C'è zenzero? No.
no, noci.
There are nuts?
Nuts.
Noci Junglas Regia.
And lemon.
Lemon? Limone?
No?
No.
Poco.
Yes.
Scorza, non lemon. Invece questo dentro sono le mandorle. Almond.
Almond?
Almond. Questo è un esempio di un ragazzo, no? E di una coppia, Stefano Secci e Elisa Deiana. Sono due ragazzi che hanno fatto un grande video per il Giappone, cioè la televisione giapponese è venuta da loro e ha raccontato la comunità di Seul attraverso la loro esperienza, attraverso questa attività.
This pasture laboratory belongs to a young couple that wanted to preserve local traditions, and also Japanese television was interested in this pasture laboratory. So they studied Seoul starting from this place.
Well, thank you for facilitating. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you everyone.
Grazie a voi.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope someday I can go to Hawaii or Sardinia.
We will. It's a small world.
Vi aspetto, questa è una finestra, no? Vieni un attimo, non scappare. Vieni Andrea. Questa di Ishigaki è stata una bella finestra. Noi però vi vogliamo ricambiare l'ospitalità di Ishigaki e prima o poi riuscire a invitarvi a venire a visitare l'isola di Sardegna e e la comunità di Seulo in particolare.
Vabbè, io generalizzo un po'.
Sì, sì.
Okay, we really enjoyed this experience, so we are very thankful for your invitation. So we think that this experience should go on, and we look forward for visiting your country and for you coming to Sardinia to visit our island and to know his village. So we hope so.
Thank you.
When you visit us on Kauai, please look me up. Hopefully I'm still mayor.
Hopefully.
So last thing, a photo session together.
Okay.
Uh, 背景はどっちがいいですか？
海